there friends, well you read that right. In today's video I'm going to be sharing with you how to make your Christmas a whole lot easier. Well, at least when it comes to the food. In today's video I'm going to be sharing with you how I always meal prep 4 traditional sides in advance. Once you get in the habit of doing this, I'm sure you'll be doing all of your Christmas sides this way. So on Christmas morning, all you're going to have to do is pop that turkey in the oven and you're going to be good to go. And if you watched my last video for the berry cream cheese French toast casserole, I showed you how you can even make your breakfast in advance. So if you missed out on that video, I'll be sure to link it up above and I'll put it at the end of this video. Okay, well let's just go ahead and jump into this, and the first recipe that we're going to be meal prepping is going to be our sweet potato crunch. To get this recipe started, you're going to need 3 cups of mashed cooked sweet potatoes. To that, add a half a cup of sugar, 2 eggs, and a half a cup of butter melted. Now you're going to need a half a cup of milk. To flavor that all up, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, and a half a teaspoon of cloves. You're going to blend that together well until it's nice and creamy, stopping at least 1 time to scrape down the sides of your bowl. Well, that's it for the main part of this recipe, so go ahead and grab your 1-gallon Ziploc bag and let's fill it up. Go ahead and pop that in the refrigerator, and we're going to move on to the crunchy topping. To a medium-sized bowl, you'll add a half a cup of brown sugar and a 1/3 cup of flour. And to that, we're going to add 1 cup of chopped pecans and 4 tablespoons of butter. Now grab a fork, because that's the best tool to make this perfectly crumbly, and we're going to mix all that together. Go ahead and pop that into a bag and put it in the refrigerator with the rest. This will set up hard, so before you crumble this on top of your casserole, just pop it in the microwave for 20 seconds. All of the recipes that I'm showing you here today will make a 13x9 casserole. And that's it. Your first casserole is already finished. Now let's move on to our green bean casserole next. This recipe is going to be 2 cans of green beans to 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. You'll see in this video that I'm doubling the recipe. Just mix your soup and green beans together in a large bowl. Now to that, we're going to add a half a cup of milk and a teaspoon of soy sauce. A half a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of pepper. Fold all of that together until your soup is mixed well and blended completely throughout. Now we're going to add the special ingredient, which is the French fried onions, and I added about a half a cup here. On your next gallon freezer bag, you're going to write to preheat your oven to 350 degrees, bake it for 30 minutes, top with the onions, and bake for 5 minutes more. And just like that, we've already completed our second casserole. Go ahead and pop that in the refrigerator with the first. And we're going to move on to the broccoli and cheese casserole. Now this recipe calls for 2 cans of creamed soup. I am choosing to use the large can of cream of chicken, which equals 2 cans. To that, we're going to add 1 1/4 cups of water and 1 jar of Cheese Whiz. You're just going to stir that together till everything's nice and creamy, and then we're going to season it with salt and pepper. I'm adding 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. Just give it another quick stir to get that combined. Next up, you're going to add 2 10-ounce packages of frozen chopped broccoli, and with that, 3 ounces of instant minute rice. Now, I haven't shown it here in the video, but you can also add 1 diced small onion to the recipe. That'll do it for this one. So on your next gallon bag, you're going to write 350 degrees for 45 minutes. Now go ahead and put that in the refrigerator for the other 2, and we'll move on now to our Jiffy corn casserole. Now this original recipe that I'm going to read out to you makes a large 13x9 casserole dish. I doubled that. So you're gonna see in this picture that I'm adding 2 of everything, but the original recipe is 1 15-ounce can of creamed corn, 1 15-ounce can of whole kernel corn, and 1 8.5-ounce Jiffy cornbread mix. Now to that, you're going to add 1/2 cup of melted butter and 1 cup of sour cream. Now because I'm doubling it, I'm adding the whole container of sour cream. Next up, you're going to add 2 eggs. And again, I'm doubling it, so I'll be adding 4. And to make this extra special, my secret ingredient is diced green chilies. Mix all of that together with a spatula until it's well combined, and be sure to season it well with salt and pepper. Now that everything's mixed, the final ingredient is going to be 1 cup of shredded cheese. Now on this one, we're just going to wipe down the top of our bowl and cover it tightly and place the whole bowl in the refrigerator. Mark on the top to bake this at 350 degrees for 45 minutes covered, and then uncover and bake for an additional 15 minutes. Okay, I went ahead and threw in a bonus pumpkin pie because we can make that the day before as well. Just grab your favorite flavored pumpkin pie filling, 1 can of evaporated milk, and 2 eggs. And today I'm trying out the Aldi's deep dish pie crust for the very first time. Just go ahead and dump that pie mix right into a large bowl, and to that we're going to be adding 1/2 cup of the evaporated milk. Now go ahead and crack those 2 eggs into the same mixing cup and slightly stir them before adding them to the mix. Now just give all of that a good stir. You can use a hand mixer or a stand mixer for this process, but today I chose to do it by hand. Now I like to add a little more seasoning to my pumpkin pies, so I'm adding 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cloves, 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger, and 1 teaspoon of nutmeg. Just give all of that a good mix, and once it's completely combined, we're going to pour it into our pie shell. Now I fill these all the way up to the top, And you're going to want to bake these on a cookie sheet. So my advice here is to place it on the cookie sheet first. Now when it comes to baking these, just follow the baking time and temperature on your pie filling can. And before we move on, I want to show you this trick that my mom always used to keep her pies fresh, and that's to cover them with a piece of wax paper. It seals out all of the air and it doesn't stick. Okay, here's all of our casseroles together. Just pay attention to your cook times and temperatures. I started by placing the corn in the oven first, followed by the broccoli, then the sweet potatoes and green beans. Well, if you enjoyed the idea of meal prepping your Christmas dinner, I hope that you'll give this video a big thumbs up, and I hope that it puts the joy back in your Christmas day. And don't forget, before you leave, to click on that berries and cream cheese French toast casserole so that breakfast can be ready as well. Thanks so much for stopping by today, friends, and I look so forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!